Good evening to all of viewers and welcome to the news at 5. I'm Aaron Lingdo. We start with the big story related to the Naga peace talks. The centre has initiated a big move to resume talks with the NSA and IM once again. Well, the UDA chairman, T.R. Ziliang, has informed that peace interlocutor A.K. Mishra has invited the NSA and IM leaders for another round of talks. Now, as per Ziliang, the NSA and IM leadership will take a call on the issue by tomorrow. As per inputs, interlocutor A.K. Mishra recalled Moiva personally to extend the talks invite. So, a big development in the Naga peace talks. The centre's interlocutor A.K. Mishra has urged the NSA and IM leadership to come for another round of talks. Now, the NSA and IM is slated to hold an internal meeting and take a call on the invitation by tomorrow. Our editor-in-chief, Wasbir Hussain, spoke to UDA chairman T.R. Ziliang, who informed Northeast Live of the development. Let's listen into that conversation.
I'm now joined by Mr. T.R. Ziliang, leader of the opposition-less government in Nagaland. Mr. T.R. Ziliang, thank you for joining Northeast Live. We understand that the Naga peace interlocutor, Mr. A.K. Mishra, has once again given an offer to the NSC and IM for talks, to resume the talks.
Yeah. Last time when we visited Delhi, we were informed by A.K. Mishra that the NSNIM delegation they went back to Nagaland after they had last stop on 13 May. So the formation paper submitted by him was not acknowledged by this NSN delegation. So according to A.K. Mishra, they told him that they'll go back and have a discussion with their boss. And then if required, they'll come back. But there was no news from this NSNIM. So we requested him to invite them so that they continue the dialogue. He said, yes, he's going to call them. So 2 days back, he told us that he has already had a talk with this NSNIM, this Uncle T.H. Moiba over this phone.
Right.
So I hope they will discuss and go back to Delhi to resume the talk.
Absolutely. This is a very positive development, particularly after the deadlock in the talks caused by the NSC and IM's decision to sort of, say that there will be no solution without a flag and constitution, isn't it?
Yeah. So on our part also, we have already informed this NSC and IM leadership that
Right.
they should discuss and go back, since A.K. Mishra is willing to resume the talk. So they said they'll discuss tonight or tomorrow, and then if required, they'll go back.
Absolutely. So the core committee, that means the core committee and the parliamentary committee on formed under the leadership of Mr. Nefurio, the chief minister, and you will continue with your effort to act as facilitators, right?
Yeah. We have discussed it yesterday, and there is nothing that to go back. We'll continue our mission till the goal is achieved. That is our decision. Any individual may say anything.
Yes. Right.
Yes, but the core committee and committee on Naga political issue will continue our mission, because we are the facilitator. The talk fail or success, we have to continue our mission.
Absolutely. Mr. T.R. Ziliang, thank you very much indeed for speaking to Notice Live.
Okay, thank you.
Meanwhile, Nagaland Chief Minister Nefurio Rio reiterated that the Parliamentary Committee on Naga political issue will do everything possible to ensure success of the peace talks. Rio reiterated that the core committee, in its last meeting on July the 16th, urged both the Government of India and the NSC and IM to refer to the competencies mentioned in the framework agreement to come to an understanding.
We will do all possible see that success comes. And I've been telling others also. In our resolution, point number 3, the parliamentary committee requests the negotiation parties to refer to the competencies agreed in framework agreement on 3rd August 2015. So it is signed by them, and it is that company's word is inserted in the framework agreement. So that secret, we don't know. It is with them. That's why we requested Honorable Prime Minister and Home Minister to call and discuss. Sorry, talk.
Well, shifting focus now, the All Arunachal Pradesh Students Union, or the APSU, has issued a 15-day ultimatum to the Pema Khandu government to revoke PRCs allegedly given to members of the Chakma Hajong community in Changlang. Well, the APSU's move comes after the Apex students' body found that at least 500 Chakma Hajong refugees have been issued residential proof certificates at Diun in Changlang district. If that was not all, the APSU has alleged that the RPCs were issued to the Chakma Hajongs with full knowledge of the Deputy Commissioner. Well, therefore, the APSU has sought immediate suspension of the DC Changlang and extra Assistant Commissioner of Diun within 15 days for issuing of the RPC and PRC certificates to the Chakma Hajong settlers. Besides, the APSU has also demanded that all the RPCs issued to Chakma Hajong still date should be cancelled within 15 days. Not only this, the APSU has also called for an investigation against the officials involved in issuing illegal RPCs to Chakma Hajongs. Now, besides, the APSU has demanded to constitute an inquiry committee which should include 2 members of the APSU within 15 days.
So, APSU being the apex body, being the voice of Arunachal, हम लोग कभी टॉलरेट नहीं करेगा जो इंडिजिनस का हित का अगेंस्ट में कोई कंस्पिरेसी हो. जो प्रेजेंट जो दायून का पीएचसी उन्होंने एग्जीक्यूट करके जो है चकमा को रेसिडेंशियल प्रूफ सर्टिफिकेट दिया फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ एजुकेशन एंड जॉब. तो इसको हम लोग कंडेम करते हैं. ये कहीं ना कहीं हम लोग के लिए बहुत बड़ा कंस्पिरेसी है हम लोग का अगेंस्ट में. जब चकमा हाजों का बात करेगा तो वो लोग का रेफ्यूजी कार्ड ही काफी है. तो उसके लिए ये करवाने वाला जो है हमारा अरुणाचल का ही ऑफिसर्स है. इसके लिए हम लोग जो है आपसे जो हम लोग डिसाइड किया है कि सबसे पहले जो एग्जीक्यूट किया जो ईएसी दायून ही शुड बी सस्पेंडेड. डीसी चंगलंग शुड बी सस्पेंडेड. तो हम लोग जो है 15 दिन का समय दे रहा है. तो इसका साथ साथ जो है जितना एयरिंग ऑफिसर्स जो इन्वॉल्व है इसमें वो लोग को जो है इंक्वायरी होना पड़ेगा. और ये इंक्वायरी टीम में जो हमारा अफसू से 2 एग्जीक्यूटिव रहेगा. इसका साथ साथ वो जो ईएसी ऑफिस में रोबिन चकमा बोल के इलीगली वो नौकरी करके बैठा हुआ है. तो इसको भी हम लोग को कैंसिल करना है. दूसरा है कि उसको इमीडिएटली अरेस्ट करना पड़ेगा. उसका साथ साथ जितना भी आपका रेसिडेंशियल प्रूफ सर्टिफिकेट जितना मोर देन 500 जो इश्यू किया है तो उसको जो है इमीडिएट कैंसिलेशन. ये सब का पीछे कंस्पिरेसी का पीछे में हम लोग को जो अभी पता चला वहाँ का 49 दायून बोडुमसा का कंस्टिट्यूएंसी का जो एमएलए है समलोंग मोसांग उनका इंस्ट्रक्शन में है बोला. टीम आपसू का डिमांड यहाँ पे बहुत क्लियर है कि समलोंग मोसांग को जो जो प्रोविजन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल राइट का हिसाब से एक एमएलए का हिसाब में उसका जो भी प्रोविजन है इसको आप सरेंडर कर दीजिए. नहीं तो 15 दिन का बाद लोगों को आपसू हम लोग अपना हाथ में ले लेगा. तो ये हमारा आपसू का मांग है. अगर सरकार हम लोग का बात को नहीं सुनेगा तो 15 दिन का बाद जो है हम लोग जो इंडेफिनिट स्ट्राइक करेगा.
Well, there you heard it. The All Arunachal Pradesh Students Union, or the APSU, has issued a 15-day ultimatum to the Pema Khandu government to revoke PRCs allegedly given to members of the Chakma Hajong community in Changlang. Now on to the Manipur landslide tragedy. There has been no success for the search and rescue workers today at the tragedy site at Tupul in the state's None district. As many as 56 bodies have been recovered so far from the landslide site, while around 5 are still said to be missing. A review meeting will be held tomorrow to decide on whether the rescue operations should continue for a couple of more days. Meanwhile, we have reactions coming in from the NDRF Assistant Commandant Ram Karan Swamy, who is overseeing the operations. Let's listen in.
As of now, we have only 5% missing. One is army soldier of 107 BTK, and one is labor of BSc Infra, and 4 of villagers. And out of 6 missing, one body we record, but that is not identified. Tomorrow morning we have a review meeting on this operation. That will be chaired by Honorable Minister for Disaster, attended by respected Additional Chief Secretary sir, respected DC sir, SP sir, and other agencies working on ground. Agencies working here are NDRF and Army troops are operating. CRPF 86 Battalion is conducting the rescue operation, and Assam Rifle battalions are also participating in the operation. SDRF Manipur, we have around 40 people, and state police is working very hard.
And moving further now, in a big breakthrough, the Assam police today busted another interstate drug smuggling racket. Acting on specific inputs, a police team led by Guwahati Joint Commissioner of Police Partha Sarathi Mohanta intercepted a truck carrying the drugs consignment. Now, upon frisking, the truck coming from Punjab to Manipur, 20,000 bottles of Anrex cough syrup with a market value of more than 1 crore were recovered.
য'ত আমাৰ এটা অপাৰেশ্যন কৰিবৰ কাৰণে সুচল হয় সব ফালৰ পৰা আমি তাত সেই কামটো কৰোঁ গতিকে এইটো আমুকতে হৈছিলে আমুক ইয়াত নেকি তেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ কথা নহয় দেখা যাব আৰম্ভ হৈছে ধৰা পৰিছে বাকিখিনি হৈ থাকিব এই পেলাই য'ত আমাৰ এটা অপাৰেশ্যন কৰিবৰ কাৰণে সুচল হয় সব ফালৰ পৰা আমি তাত সেই কামটো কৰোঁ গতিকে এইটো আমুকতে হৈছিলে আমুক ইয়াত নেকি তেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ কথা নহয় দেখা যাব আৰম্ভ হৈছে ধৰা পৰিছে বাকিখিনি হৈ থাকিব
Well, let's take a look now at another big story we've been tracking all morning. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, besides other leaders, including chief ministers of all the states, as well as MLAs and MPs, exercised their franchise to elect the 15th President of India. Well, the battle is between the NDA's Draupadi Murmu and the opposition candidate Yashwant Sinha. Among the early voters were Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, and the Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan, among others. Well, similarly, in the Northeast, chief ministers and MLAs of the respective states also exercised their franchise. Notably, a total of 776 MPs and 4,033 MLAs across the country are part of the election process. Worth mentioning here that Draupadi Murmu already has an easy edge over her opponent, Yashwant Sinha. And if elected, Murmu will be India's first tribal woman president. While Draupadi Murmu, backed by the ruling NDA, seems to be headed for a comfortable win, joint opposition candidate Yashwant Sinha still has his hopes high. Now, one has to wait for the result, which will be declared on the 21st of July. The swearing in will happen on July the 25th. Well, earlier, opposition presidential candidate Yashwant Sinha urged all political parties to vote for him to save democracy. Sinha said that the agencies of government have been compromised and are being used by the vehement interest of the ruling party. He said that he is not just fighting a political fight, but a fight against government agencies as well.
ये चुनाव बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है क्योंकि आने वाले दिनों में ये दिशा तय करेगा कि भारत में प्रजातंत्र बचेगा या धीरे धीरे करके समाप्त हो जाएगा। अभी तक जितने संकेत मिल रहे हैं उससे यही लग रहा है कि हम समाप्ति की ओर बढ़ रहे हैं और इसीलिए पूरे देश में घूमकर ये संदेश देने का प्रयास किया है कि ये राष्ट्रपति का चुनाव क्यों इतना महत्वपूर्ण है। मैं सारे मतदाताओं से अपील करना चाहता हूं कि वो अपनी अंतरात्मा की आवाज सुने। मैं एक पॉलिटिकल लड़ाई ही नहीं लड़ रहा हूं, आप सब जानते हैं कि मैं सरकारी एजेंसियों के खिलाफ ही लड़ाई लड़ रहा हूं। इसमें सरकारी एजेंसियां बहुत सक्रिय हो गई हैं और राजनीतिक दलों में तोड़फोड़ करवाने का काम कर रही हैं, लोगों को इस बात के लिए बाध्य कर रही हैं कि वो उनके पक्ष में वोट डालें, और पैसे का भी खेल हो रहा है।
Meanwhile, Assam Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma was among the early voters. Besides, majority of the MLAs cast their votes before 1 p.m. Meanwhile, let's listen in to what some of the MLAs had to say.
How do you see this election?
We wanted someone as president of India who will have his own conscience, who will think and who will also object sometimes to the government, as it is a provision in the constitution that he can refuse his consent to reconsider any bill, any act. And when Draupadi Murmu came to Assam, we did not hear her say anything at all. And Joshwan Jinhaji said that if he is elected, he will try to ask the government to reconsider.
आज का दिन में राष्ट्र का प्रधान का चुनाव हो रहा है और इसमें पार्टिसिपेशन करने का मौका हम लोग का भी मिला, जो विधायक लोग हों, तो इसीलिए हम लोग का दिल में एक आनंद सा एक माहौल है हर जगह पे। हमारा पार्टी का जो है, आप लोग का जानकारी है ही कि राष्ट्रपति उम्मीदवार हमारा पार्टी का तरफ से, हमारा अलायंस पार्टी का तरफ से द्रौपदी मुर्मू जी को इस बार प्रार्थी चुना गया है। तो हम लोग आज का दिन पे उम्मीद रखता हूँ कि बहुत वोट का व्यवधान से हमारा राष्ट्रपति निर्वाचित होंगे द्रौपदी मुर्मू जी।
Now, meanwhile, the BJP and its allies in the northeast are also confident of Draupadi Murmu's victory. Tripura Chief Minister Manik Saha and the Deputy Chief Minister Jishnu Debarma, who were among the early voters, lauded the BJP move to field a tribal candidate for the president's post and exuded confidence of Draupadi Murmu's victory.
এই প্রথমবার আমি রাষ্ট্রপতি পদের জন্য নির্বাচিত করার জন্য এসেছি, তো এখানে ভোট প্রদান করলাম, খুবই ভালো লাগছে। আপনারা সবাই জানেন যে এনডিএর পদপ্রার্থী আমাদের জনজাতি সম্প্রদায়ের একজনকে আমাদের প্রধানমন্ত্রী নরেন্দ্র মোদীজি ওনারও আশীর্বাদ নিয়ে উনি দাঁড়িয়েছেন। তো যাই হোক, বিরোধী দলেরও একজন দাঁড়িয়েছেন, এখানে ভোট দিতে এসেছি। প্রথমবারের মতো সত্যিই একটু ভালোই লাগছে। তো রেজাল্ট 21 তারিখ বেরোবে, বুঝতে পারবেন আপনারা। না, ইন্ডিয়া তো কনফার্ম, এটা বলাই যেতে পারে 100%, নো ডাউট, there is no question about it.
ক্যান্ডিডেটকে সেটা আপনারা ভালো করে জানেন। এই প্রথমবার এতে ঐতিহাসিক একটা দিন আজকে। ফার্স্ট লেডি ট্রাইবাল প্রেসিডেন্ট ক্যান্ডিডেট, উনি প্রেসিডেন্ট হবেনই, কারণ অনেক বিরোধী দলও যারা কি বলবো, যারা আমাদের সঙ্গে মিল নাই, ওরাও বলেছে আমরা যাই জানতাম উনি ক্যান্ডিডেট হতো আমরা ওনাকেই দিতাম। এটা একটা সিম্বল অফ অন্তোদয়, যারা সবচেয়ে পিছিয়ে আছে ওদেরকে সামনে নিয়ে আসা এবং কনস্টিটিউশনাল হেড বানানো, এটা কিন্তু একটা কি বলবো, একটা ইট ইজ এ ভেরি সিগনিফিকেন্ট ডে ইন হিস্ট্রি অফ ইন্ডিয়া। কনস্টিটিউশনাল হেড আজকে কে হবে? একজন জনজাতি মহিলা হবেন এবং উনার খুব সাধারণ ঘরের। দিস ইজ ডেমোক্রেটিক, বাই দ্য পিপল, ফর দ্য পিপল, অফ দ্য পিপল, সেটাকেই বলা হয়। এবং ওনার অভিজ্ঞতা আছেন, শিক্ষিতা, এবং উনি বহুদিন ধরে আমাদের পার্টিতেও ছিলেন, গভর্নর ছিলেন। তো মোদিজিকে আমরা ধন্যবাদ দেই যে এরকম একটা ক্যান্ডিডেট উনি তারা করতে পেরেছেন। আমরা আগেও করেছি, ভারতীয় জনতা পার্টি থেকে আব্দুল কালামজিকে বাজপেয়ীজি নিয়ে এসেছিল। তো ভারতীয় জনতা পার্টি যে প্রেসিডেন্সিয়াল ক্যান্ডিডেট সবসময় একটা কি বলে আমাদের একটা সমাজের একটা প্রতিফলন পাওয়া যায় সেখানে।
And Congress leader Sudeep Roy Barman, meanwhile, hoped that the opposition candidate would sail through.
যিনি রাষ্ট্রপতি হোক না কেন, ইটস এ ডেমোক্রেটিক প্রসেস। পছন্দ তো সকলেরই আছে, যদিও এই রাষ্ট্রপতি নির্বাচনে দলীয় কোনো হুইপ থাকে না। তো আমি আমার পছন্দের প্রার্থীকে আমি ভোট দিয়েছি। এটা দারুণ ফিলিংস। এই নির্বাচনে মানে বাই ইলেকশন জিতে এসে ভোট প্রদান করছি, এটা তো একটা স্বাভাবিকভাবে একটা গ্রেট ফিলিং। দেশ একটা শক্তিশালী রাষ্ট্রপতি পাবেন, যিনি তার সঠিকভাবে তার দায় দায়িত্ব পালন করবেন, সংবিধানের উপর আঁচড় যাতে না আসে, যেটা প্রচেষ্টা বরাবরই হচ্ছে, সংবিধানটাকে বাঁচিয়ে রাখবেন, এই প্রত্যাশাই আমরা করি। গণতন্ত্র দেশে বিরাজমান থাকবে, এই প্রত্যাশা রাখি। দেশ নতুনভাবে শক্তি অর্জন করে আগামী দিন নতুন একটা পথ চলা শুরু করবে, এই প্রত্যাশা রাখি। আমার ব্যক্তিগতভাবে যিনি জয়ী হয়ে আসুক, অনেক অনেক শুভেচ্ছা থাকবে।
And meanwhile, Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh also expressed confidence of a sound victory for the NDA presidential candidate.
Definitely, Madam Murmu will definitely win the election, and from the people of Manipur, and mainly from the tribal community of the Manipur state, would like to appreciate, thanks the Honorable Prime Minister for nominating such a, people, such a person like Murmu, Madam Murmuji, as the President of India post. So I also fully confident that all together from the state assembly, we are going to give 97% of the total vote.
And meanwhile, former Chief Minister and CLP leader O. Ibobi Singh, who cast his vote, affirmed full confidence on the opposition candidate Yashwant Sinha.
There is no difference of whether he or she may be tribal or Muslim or Hindu. See, let us see, Manipur, India is proud of being a multiple communities. So therefore, we are proud of, we are all citizens of this secular country. Whether he or she may be tribal or Muslim or Hindu or Sikh, there is no difference at all in such a big democratic country. This is a democratic country. Let the people choose their representative.
So how you look into the Yashwant?
And with that, we'll take a very short break. More news when we return. Stay tuned.
News to keep you ahead. Evening Prime, every day at 7 p.m.
जाएंगे हम वहां जहां की हर खबर छुप जाती है और दिखाएंगे वो जो रहता है आपकी नजरों से उझट। पहुंचेंगे हम पूर्वोत्तर के हर कोने में
political issues.
नॉर्थ ईस्ट की हर खबर से आपको कराएंगे रूबरू।
एक पूरा पहाड़ नीचे आके रास्ते में जो भी आया उसको दबाते चला गया।
नमस्कार, समस्त नॉर्थ ईस्ट में आपका स्वागत है। मैं हूं कविता, स्टूडियो में मैं हूं दुर्मेश,
मैं हूं रविंद्र चौहान,
मैं रश्मि प्रिया शेर, तो मैं नश्मिता महन।
And welcome back, viewers, and thank you for staying on. Before we continue with the bulletin, let's take a look one more time at the headlines. A centre makes big move to expedite the Naga peace process. Interlocutor A.K. Mishra invites the NSC and IM for another round of talks. IM to take call on invitation by tomorrow. APSU gives 15-day ultimatum to Pema Khandu government to resolve the Chakma Hajong PRC row. alleges PRCs being issued to Chakma Hajong community in Changlang district. Number of opposition leaders cross-vote in favor of the NDA opposition candidate Draupadi Murmu. Top leaders among early voters as nation elects the next president. And Guwahati police bust interstate drugs network. 20,000 bottles of banned cough syrup transported from Punjab to Manipur intercepted in Assam. Well, legislators in Meghalaya, including Chief Minister Conrad Sangma, exercised their franchise to elect the next president as well. While briefing the media, Chief Minister Sangma hoped that if the NDA candidate Draupadi Murmu gets elected, then it will help in resolving many issues pertaining to the tribals.
As elected members, it is one of our duties to vote as we get the opportunity to vote for the president of the country. So it is, in fact, an honor for each of the elected members. And most of the members have already casted their votes. And let us see the results when it comes out. The counting is on 21st. But I encourage and urge the rest who have not voted, I think one or two are left, that they should quickly come and cast their votes.
Sir, if Draupadi Murmu is elected, she will be the first female tribal president of the country. So do you think that the alleged atrocities against the tribals in the country will be controlled?
Well, you see, the concerns and the issues have always been there. And the person, if she's elected to the post of the president, obviously with that post and being the highest post in the country, obviously there will be a huge impact on the different issues concerning the tribals, is what all of us expect. And we know that is going to happen. But obviously, saying that everything will disappear is something that we cannot say, we cannot conclude that. But I'm sure that it will have a huge impact on the entire situation and scenario, not just about the different atrocities, but I think overall, let's look at the positive side of it also. That important development issues and concerns that are there for the tribal, I'm sure that will also be addressed. And I'm sure that there'll be more importance on the issues of the tribal people of this country.
And meanwhile, Meghalaya leader of the opposition, Mukul Sangma, urged the BJP to practice what it preached when asked whether the TMC should support the tribal presidential candidate, Draupadi Murmu.
Candidate of presidential election, don't you think that this will attract the tribal voters to the BJP, like the next election?
You are seeing our people in the border, along the Assam-Meghalaya border, who are subjected to so much of alleged atrocities by none other than by the state authorities from Assam, meaning the harassment to which our people are subjected. Who are these people? Aren't they tribal? That's why I'm saying, practice what you preach. This message is to the BJP, and this message is to all those people who are claiming this as a parameter to get the support for the candidate. Let us be blunt and clear. We can't be silent spectators, no?
Well, meanwhile, legislators in Arunachal Pradesh too cast their votes.
पहली बार 70 years में हमारी ट्राइबल लेडी को एक मौका दिया है और हम नरेंद्र मोदी प्राइम मिनिस्टर बहुत बहुत आभारी हूं कि हमें एक एसटी लेडी को राष्ट्रपति के लिए नॉमिनेट किया गया है और हम अपने से गर्व के साथ अपने को गर्व महसूस हो रहा है।
मैडम, ये 75 साल लगा हमें आज अपना एक ट्राइबल लेडी को प्रेसिडेंशियल कैंडिडेट के लिए हमारा एनडीए पार्टी चूज किया। सर हम लोग बहुत खुश हैं एंड इट इज अ वेरी वेलकम स्टेप, क्योंकि वी हैव अराउंड 1,63,000 ट्राइबल villages in entire Arunachal Pradesh and entire India. Arunachal Pradesh, all the state itself is a tribal state. So we are very grateful to the High Command for selecting Draupadi Murmu as a presidential candidate.
हाँ, आज का इलेक्शन में एक बहुत बड़ा खुशी की बात है कि क्योंकि हम लोग ट्राइब का हिसाब से हम लोग फर्स्ट टाइम जो है हमारा ट्राइबल एक वुमेन जो है नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने कैंडिडेट पुट अप किया है कि 75 years after 75 years of independence हम लोग मौका मिला ट्राइबल पॉपुलेशन का और ट्राइबल पीपल का बहुत खुशी का दिन है कि आज हम लोग अपना एक ट्राइबल सोसाइटी से ट्राइबल बैकग्राउंड से एक तो वुमेन को हम लोग प्रेसिडेंट का चुनने का मौका मिल रहा है और एक ऐसे है कि मेरा अपना तरफ से फर्स्ट टाइम प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया को वोट देने का मौका मिल रहा है आज बहुत खुशी है कि इसलिए ट्राइबल वुमेन जो है हमारा प्रेसिडेंट होने जा रहा है
Likewise, in Sikkim, Chief Minister Prem Singh Tamang was among the early voters. MLAs could be seen turning up in large numbers to cast their votes.
हमारा देश का राष्ट्रपति का चुनाव अभी अभी हुआ है और हम सब लोगों ने हम लोग ने जितना भी विधायक है सिक्किम का वो सबने डाला है तो मैं बहुत खुश हूँ क्योंकि इस बार हम लोग ने ऐसा एक उम्मीदवार को हम लोग ने वोट डाला कि हमारा ट्राइबल एक नारी को हम लोग ने सपोर्ट किया है और एनडीए के उम्मीदवार द्रौपदी मुर्मू मैडम को हम लोग ने वोट किया है तो मैं बहुत खुश हूँ क्योंकि एक ऐसा ट्राइबल को हम लोग ने सपोर्ट करने का समय मिला है
I think this is a celebration of Indian democracy and we are happy to say that both the Sikkim Krantikari Morcha and BJP have unanimously to vote for the NDA candidate, Mrs. Draupadi Murmu. And we are happy to do that.
And meanwhile, in Nagaland, Chief Minister Nephew Rio, the UDA Chairman T.R. Zaliang, the Deputy Chief Minister Y. Patton also cast their vote. And moving on now, former West Bengal Governor Jagdeep Dhankar filed his nomination as the BJP-led NDA's nominee for the Vice President's post. Well, Dhankar was today accompanied by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the Union Home Minister Amit Shah, the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, and a host of leaders from the BJP and its allies. The BJP National President JP Nadda was also present during the filing of the nomination. Dhankar will be up against the opposition candidate for the vice presidential post, Margaret Alva. And we've got a big story just in, viewers. The second case of monkeypox has been reported in the nation. The first case has been reported from Kerala, and as per reports, the 31-year-old man from Kannur is currently undergoing treatment at the Pariya Ram Medical College. Well, the patient's health condition is reported to be satisfactory, and those in close contact with the patient have been put under surveillance. This is the big story we're getting at the moment. The second case of monkeypox has been reported in the nation. The fresh case has been reported from Kerala. And as per reports, the 31-year-old man from Kannur is currently undergoing treatment at the Periyar Ram Medical College. The patient's health condition is reported to be satisfactory, and those in close contact with the patient have been put under surveillance. Well, let's take a look now at the big story from Guwahati. The SDRF teams are conducting search operations for a boy who went missing yesterday when he went for a bath by the side of the Brahmaputra River. The boy, identified as Dheeraj Deka, went missing yesterday after he went to take a bath near the Raj Bhavan in Guwahati. Dheeraj, a student of Lalit Chandra Bharali College, had gone to the riverside along with a group of friends when he took a dip in the water and got carried away by the torrential river current. Now, the SDRF conducted a search yesterday but could not locate the missing body. Today morning, search operations resumed to locate Dheeraj. Meanwhile, Dheeraj's family has been worried regarding the boy's safety.
Hazonia Doleta Isle, Bundu, Teluka Sarizone, Gadwar Eco, Herina Sile, Enefuriwa Isle, Hotat Mongol Gadubogarne, Sarizon Mundu Efale Namidile. Our Pesap like Slave Pesa Gurgo, Efali Zopedile. He gomna by Kinte Doas, Ekinте Hood Besiase.
সি লগত আছে নেকি
হয় মই লগত আছিলোঁ
সি একেবাৰে এইখিনি কিয় যাব পাৰিলে
এইখিনিতে মানে আৰু কেনেকুৱা যোন বাকী মানুহ দেখা সূত্ৰে মানে কৈছে ছোৱালী আহিছিলে বুলি কৈছিলে লাজ পাইছিলে চাগে বাট সেইটোৰ কাৰণে মানে এটা মানুহ ক'লে জপিয়াই দিছে বাট মই হাতটোৱে খালি দেখা পালো মোৰ লগৰটোক এজনক নুমাই দিছো মই সি নাজানে সাঁতুৰিব তথাপি অলপ চলপ জানে নুমাই দিছো তাক নামচোন সি নামি গ'ল লেকিন সিও ডুবি গ'ল লাষ্টতে ৰফিক নামৰ ল'ৰাটো বাহ দিলে সেই বাহ দিওঁতে ই উঠি আহিলে ইয়াৰ কাৰেণ্ট আছে আপুনি এইখিনিলৈকে যাব নোৱাৰে একজেক্টলি তাৰমানে এইখিনিৰ পৰা এনেকে এই তালৈকে গৈছে মানে
পাহাৰৰ পৰা একেবাৰে ওচৰতে
এইখিনিতে বহুত দ আছে আপুনি নিজে চাব পাৰিব আমি যেতিয়া মই যেতিয়া নাজানো সাঁতুৰিবলৈ মই নিজে গৈছিলো তেতিয়া মানে দ হৈ গৈছে পুৰা সোমাই গৈছিলে তেতিয়া এই ৰফিক নামৰ ল'ৰাটো বাহ দিছে তেতিয়া লগৰজনে উঠি আহিছে এইখিনিয়ে ঘটনা সি তাতে দুখ খাই গ'ল আৰু
কেইটা বজাৰ ঘটনা এইটো
এইটো আমাৰ 4 বজাত
Now, staying with updates from Assam, in a major accident, 2 students hailing from Dibrugarh University have gone missing in the Siang River in Arunachal Pradesh's Pasighat. Now, as per reports, 5 students went to the Siang River side at Raneghat for a bath. Now, while 3 students managed to come to the river bank, 2 students have gone missing. Rescue teams from both Assam and Arunachal Pradesh are conducting search and rescue operations in the Siang River. Now, the 2 missing students have been identified as Prasidha Handik and Subhasdeep Paul. Moving on now, Meghalaya opposition leader Mukul Sangma has once again lashed out at the Conrad Sangma-led state government over the interstate border agreement with Assam. Now, the senior TMC leader Mukul Sangma questioned the very concept to give and take in the border deal, stating that Meghalaya had not gained any additional land.
Are you going to get some more from Assam in addition to what we are claiming? This is what one has to understand. I will expect that if you are talking about give and take, that means in addition to what you're claiming, get some more from Assam. Because even the areas which fall in Kamrup were part and parcel of our Himalaya. Refer back to your 1911, 1912. You see, you will have to understand one more thing, that our Himalayan, our tribal land, have already alienated at that point of time during British time through those notifications. That's the reason why we say that there will be no longer alienation of, or rather, no longer shall we allow further alienation of our tribal land.
And shifting focus now, in a first, Indian Army officers undertook a course in Tibetology to gain comprehensive knowledge and strengthen their connect with the Tibetan community in the border areas. The 42-day-long course was attended by the Indian Army officers, JCO, at the Central Institute of Himalayan and Cultural Studies, Dahang, Arunachal Pradesh. And as per a statement released by the Defense Ministry, the officers undertook research on subjects such as Tibetan Buddhism, people of Tibet, Sinicization of Tibet, and political system in Tibet before and after 1950. Well, Tibet after 1950 saw dramatic political changes, including an invasion by China that led to the Dalai Lama, the top Tibetan spiritual guru, leaving the region in 1959. The course included learning of Tibetan language, understanding of Tibetan Buddhism and literature, and visits to monasteries of Chilipam, Dirang, and Bomdila. Now, many of these monasteries have deep linkages with Tibetan Buddhism. Other key features of the course included guest lectures by Guru Tulku Rinpoche, abbot of Bomdila Monastery, and Tibet expert Claude Arpe. Now, the development comes at a time when India-China tensions remain high in the backdrop of Chinese aggressive moves at the line of actual control in eastern Ladakh and Arunachal Pradesh. And we have breaking news just in, viewers. Unidentified miscreants have impersonated Assam Chief Secretary Jishnu Bora. Now, as per inputs, fraudsters through WhatsApp are circulating messages demanding money. Now, the incident came to light after a government official in Jorhat received such a message. Now, meanwhile, police have swung into action and are probing the matter. Well, this is the big breaking this moment. Unidentified miscreants have impersonated the Assam Chief Secretary Jishnu Borua. As per inputs, fraudsters through WhatsApp are circulating messages demanding money. Now, the incident came to light after a government official in Jorhat received such a message. Meanwhile, police have swung into action and are probing the matter.
ট্ৰেপটো এনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ এটা বস্তুটো সাজে যে ব্যক্তি এজন অজানিতে সেই বস্তুটোৰ ভিতৰত এটা ইনভলভ হৈ পৰে চিভিল এডমিনিষ্ট্ৰেশ্যনৰ যিগৰাকী ব্যক্তিৰ লগত হৈছে মানে তেওঁৰ প্ৰফাইলটো চিফ ছেক্ৰেটাৰী ছাৰৰ ফটোখনেই আছে কিন্তু মানে ফোন নম্বৰ নতুন নাম্বাৰ ব্যক্তিজনে ভাবিলে কি যে এজন মানে ছাৰৰ নতুন নাম্বাৰ চাগে আৰু সেইটো কাৰণে মানে তেওঁ ছাৰে ৰিকুৱেষ্ট কৰিছে এমাজনৰ মানে গিফ্ট কাৰ্ড কিনিব লাগে 13টা 10,000 মানে এপ্ৰক্সিমেট 1,30,000ৰ মই গিফ্ট কাৰ্ড কিনিব লাগে আৰু একৰ্ডিংলি ছাৰৰ ইনষ্ট্ৰাকশ্যন মতে তেওঁ ভাবিলে কি যে আপুনি কিনিছে নাই তেওঁ মানে অলৰেডি 5টা তেওঁ অলৰেডি কৰিলে কৰাৰ পিছত কিন্তু তেওঁৰ সেইটো সময়তে মাইণ্ডত ষ্ট্ৰাইক কৰিলে যে এইটো বস্তু মানে ফ্ৰডো হ'ব পাৰে তেওঁ কনফাৰ্ম কৰিবৰ কাৰণে ট্ৰাই কৰিলে আৰু তেওঁ চিফ ছেক্ৰেটাৰী ছাৰৰ লগত কথা পাতি পিনে মানে তেওঁ হেৰি হ'ল গম পালে যে এইটো মানে নাম্বাৰটো মানে হেৰি নাম্বাৰ হয় ছাৰ
All right, well, viewers, unidentified miscreants have impersonated the Assam Chief Secretary Jishnu Borua. As per inputs, the fraudsters through WhatsApp are indeed circulating messages demanding money. Now, the incident came to light after a government official in Jorhat received such a message. Meanwhile, police have swung into action and are probing the matter. And meanwhile, the Indo-Tibetan Border Police, or the ITBP, has created its first mountain warfare training center in northeast India. The training center in Sikkim is the ITBP's second overall center to skill its troops in high-altitude combat and survival tactics as part of their mandate to guard the line of actual control with China. Now, the new center has been established in remote Dombang, abutting the LAC, and is located at a height of 10,040 feet in Sikkim that shares a 220-kilometer front of the India-China LAC. Now, the facility has come almost after 5 decades of the establishment of its first such school called Mountaineering and Skiing Institute during 1973-74 at the Oli near Joshipat. Now, the MNSI is located at a height of more than 9,000 feet in the Himalayan ranges of Uttarakhand and has trained thousands of ITBP, the Army, the Air Force, and other security personnel in this domain, and that for adventure sports. A senior ITBP officer told PTI that the training center at Sikkim was conceptualized in order to enhance the capacity to train newly recruited and serving troops in mountain warfare, rock climbing, high-altitude survival, and patrol, even as the need to have more than one facility than Oli was being felt for long, given the increasing engagement of its troops with the Chinese PLA over the past few years. Well, back to our top story. The center has initiated a move to resume talks with the NSC and IM once again. Well, UDA chairman T.R. Ziliang has informed that peace interlocutor A.K. Mishra has invited the NSC and IM leaders for another round of talks. Now, as per Ziliang, the NSC and IM leadership will take a call on the issue by tomorrow. And as per inputs, interlocutor A.K. Mishra called Muiva personally to extend the talks invite. So, well, a big development in the Naga peace talks. The center's interlocutor A.K. Mishra has urged the NSC and IM leadership to come for another round of talks. Now, the NSC and IM is slated to hold an internal meeting and take a call on the invitation by tomorrow. Our editor-in-chief, Wasbir Hussain, spoke to the UDA chairman T.R. Ziliang, who informed Northeast Live of the development. Let's listen into that conversation.
I am now joined by Mr. T.R. Ziliang, leader of the opposition-less government in Nagaland. Mr. T.R. Ziliang, thank you for joining Northeast Live. We understand that the Naga peace interlocutor, Mr. A.K. Mishra, has once again given an offer to the NSC and IM for talks, to resume the talks.
Yeah. Last time when we visited Delhi, we were informed by A.K. Mishra that the NSNIM delegation they went back to Nagaland after they had last talk on 13 May. So the formation paper submitted by him was not acknowledged by this NSN delegation. So according to A.K. Mishra, they told him that they'll go back and have a discussion with their boss. And then if required, they'll come back. But there was no news from this NSNIM. So we requested him to invite them so that they continue the dialogue. He said, yes, he's going to call them. So 2 days back, he told us that he has already had a talk with this NSNIM, this Uncle T.H. Muiba over this phone.
Right.
So I hope they will discuss and go back to Delhi to resume the talk.
Absolutely. This is a very positive development, particularly after the deadlock in the talks caused by the NSC and IM's decision to sort of, say that there will be no solution without a flag and constitution, isn't it?
Yeah. So on our part also, we have already informed this NSNIM leadership that they should discuss and go back, since A.K. Mishra is willing to resume the talk. So they said they'll discuss tonight or tomorrow, and then if required, they'll go back.
Absolutely. So the core committee, that means the core committee and the parliamentary committee on formed under the leadership of Mr. Nefurio, the chief minister, and you will continue with your effort to act as facilitators, right?
Yeah. We have discussed yesterday, and there is nothing that to go back. We'll continue our mission till the goal is achieved. That is our decision. Any individual may say anything.
Yes, right.
Yes, but the core committee and committee on political issue will continue our mission, because we are the facilitator. The talk fail or success, we have to continue our mission.
Absolutely. Mr. T.R. Jeliang, thank you very much indeed for speaking to Notice Live.
Okay, thank you.
Meanwhile, Nagaland Chief Minister Nephew Rio reiterated that the Parliamentary Committee on Naga Political Issue will do everything possible to ensure success of the peace talks. Rio reiterated that the core committee, in its last meeting on July the 16th, urged both the Government of India and the NSC and IM to refer to the competencies mentioned in the framework agreement to come to an understanding.
We will do all possible to see that success comes. And I've been telling others also, in our resolution, point number 3, the parliamentary committee requests the negotiation parties to refer to the competencies agreed in framework agreement on 3rd August 2015. So it is signed by them, and it is that competency word is inserted in the framework agreement. So that secret, we don't know. It is with them. That's why we requested Honorable Prime Minister and Home Minister to call and discuss, sort it out.
And moving on now, Dima Hasao is one of the popular tourist destinations in Assam, and especially during summers, a flavored one. Now, meanwhile, the Jatinga River is a hotspot for tourists to beat the heat, while the well-known ethnic village near Jatinga also attracts tourists. However, littering at these major hotspots has worried nature lovers and conservationists. In fact, allegations are that visitors to these places litter waste in and around carelessly. Our colleague Swadeep Hassamsa was in Jatinga to give a reality check and spoke to few visitors as well as the locals.
डिमा हासाओं में बहुत सारा जगह में टूरिस्ट का लोकेशन
स्पॉट हॉट स्पॉट बना हुआ है डिमा हासाव डिस्ट्रिक्ट। और स्पेशल खास करके इन गर्मी सीजन में लोग जठिंगा जो एक नदी है वहाँ पे लोग आते हैं और बहुत बाहर से भी लोग आए हैं। और कुछ लोग इस वक्त हमारे साथ मौजूद है। दादा आप कहाँ से हैं?
मैं सिलचर से हूँ। सिलचर में बहुत गर्मी है बोल के हम आफलोंग आ गया, तो आफलोंग में आके बहुत एंजॉयमेंट मिल रहा है। बहुत अच्छा प्लेस है, बढ़िया टूरिस्ट प्लेस है। घूमने निकला, जटिंगा जो नदी है उसमें आया, उसका पहले एथनिक विलेज गया।
यहाँ पे आके कैसा लगा?
बहुत अच्छा लगा दादा।
दादा इसमें हम एक बात करना चाहते हैं कि यहाँ पर तो बहुत लोग आते हैं, आपने भी देखा होगा बहुत सारा आदमी। लेकिन आपको क्या लगता है ये जो गंदगी फैलने से?
गंदगी तो बुरा बात है।
यहाँ पे आपने क्या देखा है? बहुत सारा बोतल देखा होगा।
बोतल तो बहुत है दादा। मेरा तो यही रहेगा अपील, जो यहाँ में ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए। इतना खूबसूरत जगह है, उसको कोई खराब ना करे, कोई कचरा ना करे, कोई दारू का बोतल हो, प्लास्टिक हो, कुछ भी हो, अपना अपना पीने से खाने से उसको संभाल के कोई अच्छा जगह में रख दे, फेंक दे, जैसे कोई दूसरा आदमी का प्रॉब्लम ना हो।
और यहाँ पर जो लोग भी आते हैं उनको एक अनुरोध रहा कि यहाँ पर आए, लेकिन यहाँ का जठिंगा का नदी को आप गंदगी ना खाने। टूरिस्ट आते हैं तो वो लोग अगर देखते हैं तो उनका मन खराब हो जाता है। यहाँ का जो टूरिस्ट का जो अट्रैक्शन है वो आगे में प्रॉब्लम होने का संभावना है। मौजूद है एथनिक विलेज में, जहाँ डिमा हासाव का हाफलोंग से मोर देन 9 किलोमीटर का बार एथनिक विलेज है, जहाँ एक बहुत ही सुंदर और बहुत जनजाति का घर यहाँ पे कॉटेज बना के रखा है और साथ में चिल्ड्रन पार्क भी है। और इस वक्त आप देख रहा होगा मेरे पीछे में एक बहुत बड़ा सा एक बाउंड्री है, बाउंड्री के पीछे में एक है। लेकिन इसको फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट ने इसको फिलहाल देखभाल के लिए रखा है। लेकिन इस बात यह है कि यहाँ पर क्या चल रहा है, यहाँ पे एक्चुअली होता क्या है?
यहाँ में तो क्या बोलेगा, इधर में तो जब आता है ये लोग पिकनिक करता, फिर भी दारू पीता, अच्छा से नहीं फेंकता। खुद ये लोग का फॉरेस्ट का आदमी स्टाफ ये लोग जो सफा करने लगता। डस्टबिन है, डस्टबिन भी नहीं फेंकता, ऐसे यो भी फेंकता।
सब दारू का ही बोतल आता है।
दारू का बोतल
कौन सा दिन में ज्यादा होता है?
जैसे संडे, उसके बाद में डेली शाम का टाइम में आता था।
मना नहीं करता आप लोगों ने यहाँ पे?
मना करने से भी नहीं सकता
ना। क्या बोलता तब मना कर रहे?
मना करने निशा हो जाएगा तो उल्टा झगड़ा हो जाएगा। जब फॉरेस्ट का आदमी इधर में तो स्टाफ अच्छा से रखने से देखभाल करेगा तो अच्छा होगा।
जैसे कि उन्होंने बताया कि यहाँ पर लोग आते हैं, शाम को आते हैं, एक दारू का अड्डा बना रहता है। यहाँ पर जो साफ सफाई नहीं है तो वो पूरी चारों तरफ बोतल ही फेंका हुआ है। हमने काफी हद तक ये देखा कि यहाँ पर साफ सफाई तो है, लेकिन बहुत सारा जगह में जो बोतल्स है, कचरा है, वो हमने बहुत कुछ देखा है।
And with that story, we end the news at 5. I'm Aaron Lingdo. Thanks for watching.
जाएंगे हम वहां जहां की हर खबर छुप जाती है और दिखाएंगे वो जो रहता है आपकी नजरों से उझल।